Hi, this is Susan from Hot Shot Polka Dot. This is part 2 of the spring outfits made from Dollar Tree items. You will need a sewing kit, a sewing machine or needle and thread, the following items from Dollar Tree, and a doll. Here we go! In part 1, I showed you how to make these cute little outfits from a placemat, an Easter basket, and some socks. In part 2, I'm going to make a ruffled skirt out of the ribbons and another probably a little short skirt out of this tulle. I'll downsize this adult hat and make a doll size hat, and out of these socks I'll probably make another little top. Also out of the socks I think I can make like little leg warmers too, to wear under the short skirts. Let's start with the ruffled skirt. First you need to take the wire out of the ribbons. And the pink one was really easy. You just pull that little wire out. It slides out very easily. The floral ribbon, I had to actually cut the wire part off. And on one side, I cut leaving just a little bit of selvage left on the ribbon. And on the other side, I completely cut all of the wire part off, even the selvage looking part, as close as I could. That made this side softer, and this side will keep from raveling. After I cut one side off, here's an example, I zigzagged the fraying side. So if you can find this type that the wire comes out easily, I prefer this type of ribbon. It's soft, it can be gathered easily, and plus it has a nice edging to it. You're going to cut 3 short pieces according to the doll's size, and you're going to cut 3 long pieces according to the amount of ruffling you'd like. Mine was about that much longer. I didn't want the skirt too full. Use your favorite gathering stitch. On this project I used a long stitch on the sewing machine, and I'm pulling the back thread, which is the bobbin thread, and it gathers, makes a nice little gather. Pin the gathered ribbon to the shorter ribbon, and then make a straight stitch with your sewing machine. And I did press mine with my iron. You now have 3 layers, and I'll show you how to put those 3 layers together. And by the way, I did seal the edges of the ribbon with heat, and you just hold it up and the heat will just seal those fraying parts together. Make sure you are an adult or you have an adult nearby. Okay, I'm putting the 2 layers together, and I'm putting the top of the ribbon to the top of the piece that I just gathered, like that. And that's what it looks like on the right side. The bottom layer hides the connecting ribbon. Join the 3rd layer, and then you're going to turn down to make a waistband. And you will sew again along as close as you can to the edge. When you press ribbon, you will need to use a pressing cloth so that the ribbon will not get too hot and stick to your iron. Plus, set your iron at a lower setting. And I picked up this handkerchief from the dollar store, of course, and I use that as my pressing cloth. Okay, here she is. Now on people, you would want to close the back of the skirt, but on dolls, you can just attach your favorite closure. Either Velcro, hook and eye, or snaps. Okay, let's do the green skirt next. And I slid the doll inside the skirt, and it's very see-through, so I decided, since I have so much fabric, that I would just double those layers, and you can see that it's no longer see-through. And I probably have enough. You could just do it like that if you want to. But I want to cut off the green fabric. You can leave it. You can leave it or cut it off yourself. But I'll show you what I'm going to do. I pinned about 1.5 inches away from the shiny fabric, and then I sewed where the pins were. And next, I'm going to cut right above the stitches. I took the elastic out because I thought it was just a little too bulky. So I took the elastic out and I pressed the ribbon, and I'm going to sew it back onto the tulle, and that'll make a little bit flatter ribbon. You could keep it long, but I think a real short skirt would be really cute. So I'm going to find how short I want it and mark it. I've pinned about 3, it looks like 4, 3.5 inches from the silky part. And I'm going to carefully cut a little below the pins. Again, you can use your favorite closure and another cute skirt. Now we're going to make these little, well, I call them leg warmers because they're not leggings and they're not tights. And you can adjust the size, make them short or long, and not to mention, they are really easy to make. First thing you do is cut just a straight line off the bottom of the sock. Right there. So you're cutting most of the toe off. And turn it inside out. Put it on the doll's leg, with the heel part at the back of the leg. And we're going to go this way so that the bottom is finished off. Here's the bottom. And you're just going to pin. So I've pinned, well, it depends on how big your socks are, but mine are the little Dollar Tree socks. And of course it's a little bigger at the heel. So almost 1 inch, a little smaller at the top. I'm going to run a basting stitch where I want to sew with my sewing machine. And it's a pretty wide running stitch is what you're doing. And then I'll sew with my sewing machine right on top of it using, oh, well, I'll show you on my sewing machine which stitch I'm going to use. You're going to take out the basting thread. And you can see that the basting thread kept the sock from stretching too much, but also it's still, the machine stitch that I use still makes it stretchable. I'm cutting off and leaving about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And I'm turning down a little over 1/2 an inch. I'm using an overcast stitch to hem this, and I'm not pulling too tightly because I still want some stretch. Alright, to make the hat, I'm going to cut off about that much to begin with, all the way around. I'm removing the bill of the hat. It's easier than it looks, actually. I had to remove this thick, it's like a plastic, from the bill of the hat. I couldn't even get my scissors through it, and I'm going to insert instead cardboard for the doll. There's no exact measurement on this. I just kept folding and pinning until it looked like a hat. I'm keeping about 3.5 inches all the way around to start off with. I've marked it on the inside. And the hat is still too big around, so I'm going to overlap part of the back. I've turned the bill part of the hat inside out, and I've just kind of sketched out a bill shape, and I will sew on the chalk lines. I've cut and clipped the edge, clipped the curves. I don't know if you can see that. Turn it right side out. I traced the shape on some foam that I had bought at the dollar store previously, before this project. I've inserted the foam to make it a little bit more structured. Now I'm going to top stitch. I put 2 rows of top stitching. This is the original band around the adult hat, and I'm going to remove some of this bulk and use this as the band for the doll hat. That was kind of hard, but if you're a beginner, give it a try. The results are adorable, and I will probably go back later and put a little bit of elastic in the back because the hat was a little bit loose. Thanks for watching.